Hey, good morning, everybody. Um, Videos kind of tend to start like this, right? It's always like this, in this period of like what to say or what's going on and stuff like that. And I just feel compelled because I have not physically seen a lot of people. I've received so much support, and I just really just wanted to speak out, say something physically, and maybe post something. And for those I don't know, but know me through friendship or whatever, and may see the post because I've received some even messages because I had to I ran back into different circles and like what happened to you, and it's like, well, December 28th, my wife was murdered in a car crash. She was hit as a pedestrian. An individual ran the red light, and she died. And the impact of her death caused the ripple in her community, the stuff that she worked in our lives of me and my kids, of our daughter. You know, we've been together 27 years, married for 25. We knew each other in college. That's how we met. I was 19, and she passed away. And since then, it's kind of seclusion for like 2 months and processing. But a lot of it is that how, you have somebody for so long, or you're with somebody for so long, even with family or whatever, you're with somebody so long, and then that disappears. Um, as I wrote somewhere, it leaves like a planet-sized hole inside of you, and I I had an adaptation to occur because we spent so much time together, and now I am I don't have that security in the sense of that person being there, that person that, you turn around, hey, let me ask you a question and stuff like that. So the nuances, right? For other people, it was the missing of the prayer time with her, that she would call people and pray. Other people missed the fact that they knew that they can call her and bring up some sort of injustice, and that she would take up the call and fight. But since her passing, and like so many people cared so much, and there's like people were still honoring her. Last week there was a Women's Day event, and I couldn't even go because I'm still deeply affected by her passing. And but people came out and they still honored her in the memory. And but what I like is the fact that many people are continuing the simple trend of what she did: volunteer work, caring about people that normally people wouldn't care about, doing good for others, and not under her name, but under their own, just going out and doing it, which is what she did. She just did anything that she felt inside of herself to just go ahead and do that would touch her. And main thing is education. And Joanne always felt to be the person that if it wasn't good enough for our kids, it wasn't good enough for anyone else's kids. So she wouldn't be bound by color, race, creed. She just did anything. And a lot of the strength, it was God. It was God that would inspire her. And as I was speaking to somebody, I said, Joanne went through a lot of domestic violence. And they said, well, domestic violence, well, you did that? I said, no. I said, domestic violence in the form of how family treated her, because domestically and things that occurred in the home. What I'm trying to say is that, her power and the image and the impact is something that I was speaking to somebody, and I said, no, I would want people definitely just as maybe she's remembered, but just to realize that it was something anyone can do. Is just take up a cause and do something, right? Where there's a wrong, like, don't let the wrong continue. Speak up about it. Bring forms of education, help out other people, do things that is not the norm, but that is for the good. And we all know what good and bad is. And I find myself, because since Joanne has passed, I've run into so many people who've lost so much more. People that have lost families, people that have lost parents. I read about a person there's a society of people, or not society, but there's like groups where their loved ones were in prison and they served their time and they paid their debt to society, and then they get out changed, wanting to do different, and they die a month in, month out. Or more accidents, worse car accidents, worse things where people have lost grandchildren, and things that pull me out of my little world of grief, because we get locked into a world of like sadness and grief and we deal with it, and things that have pushed me to look up. One, I am so grateful, and if you're still watching this video, thank all of you that have called, reached out, supported. I don't think I physically thanked a lot of people because I've never reached out, because it's just, I'm day to day, I have to rewire my mind. I have to not be, it's not just about being sad, but I cannot abide in a way of just sadness and depression, because it grabs you and puts you into chains. And at night, I leave Psalms playing on my TV, so that way I hear it while I'm sleeping. And it's kind of like because when I wake up at periods of time in the house and in my room, and I realize that my wife is not there, or I look to the side, or I don't, it's empty. God brings a comfort, because God reminds me that he heals broken hearts, that God understands what I'm going through. So I don't blame God, but it's like God understands certain things and begins to work on the little cracks in the deep parts of my soul and my heart. And like I tell people, my heart is broken, but the inside of my heart is not, because Christ is real to me and he maintains me and he helps the mind. But I'm thankful because he's brought people and helped me look at people, that there are people that genuinely care, and there are people that can be a support system. But there's people that suffered so much loss out there. There's people that have lost so much, that have worse than I could ever begin to understand. And we got to look. We have to bring people to God. We have to love people. We have to love on people. The simple acts of grace and kindness, we don't know how far these things go. Not just checking up on a person, but checking up on a person, saying on the phone with them, or maybe, hey man, I'm here, or here's a text, or here's something. We don't know how that affects somebody else. I have people that still text me, like, was thinking about Joanne this morning, how are you doing? And I appreciate that. And I'm like, there's other people out there that need that as well. Some people that need to hear, because we don't know how people's inside voices talk to them. Trauma and loss and grief and family tradition can create a voice in our heads that we tell ourselves how we're not worth anything, or we don't matter, or no matter what happens, you're still going to be nothing. We put that into ourselves sometimes because it's been taught to us. And how much of a difference that it makes when someone says, no, there's purpose in your life. God chose you for a reason. God loves you, and God chooses everybody. God opens the gate of grace to everyone. But sometimes people just need that personal, because we live in such disconnected lives. And, people will tell you it was better 20 years ago, right? And it's worse now. But what they don't see is that the things are compounding. So compounding means that the legacies and the things that have been done to our great grandparents have been passed down to our parents, and it gets passed down to the kids, the fathers, and then it gets passed down to the kids and the mothers. And you see these things trickle down as compounding. So things get progressively worse in families because that tradition keeps getting compounded and added on. And sometimes it takes one person to say no. But sometimes that one person is waiting for that push to be like, no, you mean something. You're worth it. You understand? You're worth it. And I say it today that if you're still this far into it, you're worth it. You're worth it. God loves you no matter what you've been through. And I've been through all areas of life. And it's not just me. It's many people. I was talking to a person that was homeless. Was working here homeless at the place where I'm working at. Working homeless. Sleeping in the streets and then coming to work. Then lost the job. And then went back to their home state and got a job and fixed themselves up. Don't know what seasons bring. But the point is, God loves you. Therefore, God can restore you. If you can breathe and speak and you have this is still working somehow, and you still feel pain here, you're alive. And God can take your destiny and change it in a second. You just got to go back to God. Sometimes it's Jesus, just like Jesus saved me. Jesus, I don't know. You understand? When Christ was being crucified, a thief that was crucified with him just said, Lord, remember me in your kingdom. And the Lord said, today you will be with me in paradise. And that was it. That man is dying, and he just received this change in his life and died like that and went with God. Sometimes it's those minute things that we get put into a place, and we have to take that little bit that we have left and invest into something. And as a wise man taught me, faith is something that you have to invest in. You got to put it in something. Just believing ain't going to do it. You got to put it in something. And I have to put my faith into that God will heal a broken heart. God will change my broken heart because my destiny does not say that it's over. Just because I lost someone critical to my life, it's like losing a planet in my solar system, my main planet. But that doesn't mean that my life is over. It goes on. But I'm just happy that I met someone so intimate to me that my life changed on her passing. And it's like we have people like that in our lives. Or maybe it's something. Maybe it's a period of time. Maybe it's like I remember when I was younger, when I lost everything. My mother passed away. I lost everything. I lost the apartment, my brother. I lost everything. Everything. My job, everything. And God still made a way that I had a bed to sleep on. I had food to eat. I was living in someone else's place. But the point is, God made things in effect, and it was a hard life. But my life was still progressing even through the hardness. And I just want to share with anyone that your life has purpose. The loss is great if it is, or the time in the mental is great. Maybe we're losing in here. You see, we fight battles with depression and anxiety and all types of things that have been legacies that we've had on for years, but we can break that. But it's just some people may not understand. Sometimes other people got to reach out. And Joanne was like that. Joanne felt the pull. She would just reach out and call like, hey, can I pray with you for 5 minutes? Not even knowing anything. You know, I'm just call somebody at the blue. Hey, how you doing? Are you busy right now? Can I call you back? I'd like to pray with you. And you'd be surprised in those intimate moments when calling somebody and just bringing their name before God changes an entire lifetime, changes a critical moment in their lives. You just got to care, got to open ourselves up. You see, a lot of people are falling. A lot of people, now that I've experienced death in this period, now I see death in terms of how a lot of people are losing people. And there's so much hurt, so much pain out there. And, you know, as the world becomes more heartless, we should allow ourselves to be open to just grace, open to giving a call, checking on somebody, reaching out. You know, I'm thinking about you. You know, maybe it requires you to buy flowers, or maybe buy flowers for yourself. Maybe sit down with yourself and just have an intimate conversation, or bring it before God and say, God, this is how I feel. This is what's going on inside of me, because you'll be surprised how compassionate the Lord was. Christ always made time for people, and he always spoke the truth, even if it hurt, because he was trying to heal. So I really want to thank everyone. Like, when you say everyone, is like, because there's so many people that to give just the name list is like, I'm going to leave people out because they're coming off the top of my head. And sometimes I can't even, since Joanne died, it's like my morning every day is like a recreation. It's like God creating heaven and earth again, because I got to get up every morning and recreate my mind and what I got to do for the day, or else I'll sit in a pit of just depression. I'll sit in a pit of loss, and I can't. You can't. It's okay to grieve, but you can't sit in a pit of loss. You can't sit in a pit of where it's over, because it's not. The impact these people made, or the impact Joanne made on me, is till I die. But I can't let it just end with me just being like, it's over, because it's not. I'm still here. My kids are still here. My daughter's still here. My daughters are still progressing. I see progression in our lives. And when you see progression in your life in the midst of great loss, God is in the mix. You see, God is in the mix. And many of us have lost, and we're still seeing progression. God is in the mix. God is still there with us. He may not even give us the answers as to the why. Never know. I may never know. And I don't need to ask, because I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with mending my broken heart and walking in the right fashion so God can take me wherever it is I got to go, because I'm still here. You see? And sometimes I have to put that in my mind, and sometimes we got to do that. And it's not positive thinking. It's literally bringing ourselves before the Lord and say, what do you want? Where do you want me to go? How far do I walk here? Where do you want? And then you'll see it unravel, and it'll begin to happen. Then healing comes, and healing sometimes is one stitch at a time, and one stitch may take one day at a time. We don't know. But once you change this, and this, God has a hand in this, and God takes a hand in this, and God begins to correlate it, just the thought is enough to put you in the right place. And then God can walk you the rest of the way. But it all goes through Jesus. You understand? But God will change your life and then carry you step by step. My healing is day by day. And she died December 28th. It's been like 2 months. For some people, it's past, and I get it. I'm not mad at that. That's life. But for me, it's day to day, because I'm constantly reminded of what I lost, but I'm constantly reminded of what I've gained. And what I gain is that there's a legacy of a person that did so many changes in society and did it by her lonesome, by uniting people. She knew what she was up against and then brought people together to create an army to fight things. Imagine that. One bringing two, bringing 12, bringing 13, bringing 14, and let everybody know. She made politicians human to the people. And people that were human to the political parties, and people began to see that, yeah, I could make change. Amazing. Amazing. Only God can make a change like that, but it always takes a person. So that's a legacy. You understand? So I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And sometimes it takes a person to pass away, to die, for us to see what they did and then see, oh, how they do that? Oh, you know what? I could do that. And I don't, but you're not doing it under that person's thing. Do it under yourself. Do it. Do it. Make change. Make change. Do something different for somebody else and be something in their lives and be a blessing unto them. You understand? Sometimes we go through things because we're meant to pull people out of where they at. But there's so many people hurting out there. A lot of people have lost. I ain't the only one, and I'm not the easiest situation because there's so many worse. I've heard stories and nightmares of loss, of young ones, of older ones, tragedies. And then you sit there like, oh, my case is nothing compared to other people are going, but God is in the mix. God can still carry us where we need to be at. So I hope this is encouraging for someone and people receive my thanks. And that I'm not okay, but I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm okay. I'm okay. We are okay, but we're not okay. God is helping us through. The love of our peers have been there. Like I say, friends have become family in such ways that it's amazing. Joanne's network and the people that she's been around and impacted have been amazing. And I'm thankful for all of that. Thank you, God. You don't understand because it's a warmth that I appreciate now because she's not here. You don't look at things until sometimes things are gone. It's not the person. You look at what they brought with them, and you see people come out and you're like, wow, man, she was loved. And I'm thankful because they passed that love on to us, and we are loved. And these are people, and I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you all. And the not okay part is just that we miss her. We miss her so much. We miss her because Joanne was just that person, that she was like a sunshine, or she was like a bright impact. Fireworks in a room. That's what it was. Fireworks in a room. Bright lights and beautifulness, but in a room. So when you don't have that no more, it's quiet. And it's painfully quiet. But thank all of you. Let's put our trust in the Lord. Return to God. We don't know our times. We don't know our seasons. We don't know what we're here for. Sometimes we don't know how long we have, rather. But let us even appreciate the kids, the things that we have, because we don't know. And if we want to make a lasting impact, let's turn to God and see, Lord, well, what do you want me to do to make a lasting impact? That way, when I go, people will come forward for me on my behalf. That's all we could ask for. A full life. Joanne's life, in her book of her life, how she died is just a red period. Just a red dot that ends the story. But for a short life, or what we say is a short life, she did a lot. But anyone can attain that. You just got to get up and do it. She did it. She made it available for everybody. It's a pattern. Just get up and do it, and it's possible. So I thank you all. I hope someone feels better and can just say, you know what, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something that's going to better not only me, but it's going to better people around me. That is going to better life. So thank you all, and God bless you.